conference, Business Analysis Summit Southern Africa, will be hosted in Durban. The 12th edition of the conference will see the best minds in business analysis, both locally and internationally, descend on the sunny shores between the 4th and the 6th of November. This is a developing story, so keep your eye out for further information. Make sure you don't miss out on the business analysis event of the year.
Good evening and welcome, everybody. Today we're in for a special treat. We have got with us Harry Madusha. He's going to tell us how to become a business analysis superhero. Harry is also the BA priest. Before I share his bio, some rules, house rules, and a few other things. Please stay on mute unless clear to talk. Switch off your microphones, most definitely, your video during the presentation. The presentation will be about 45 minutes long. Please post your questions either in the Q&A or in the chat. The presentations will be uploaded on the IIBA SA YouTube page found at the following link. We do not share the slide deck. If you are interested in becoming a member of IIBA South Africa, there's the link for our next event. We also, you can find some links on the page. Also, if you would like to present a tool or a technique to the community, you can either take a screenshot or we will anyway post all these links in the chat during the event. On to Harry. Harry is a certified business analysis professional, CBAP, with over 15 years experience offering IT services and products to business users in various domains. He is recognized for his strong techno-functional ability and problem-solving skills. He has worked with various organizations from small startups to global conglomerates. He has a BEng in Electrical and Electronics University, Masters in Business Administration, has other certifications like CBAP, TOGF, Enterprise Architect, ITIL Foundation, Service Strategy, Service Design, Service Transition, Service Operations, CCNP, COBIT, and MCSE. He's also the president of IIBA, the Nova Scotia chapter, and the founder of 9Tech Learning, a business and technology training and counseling firm. They specialize in helping small, medium-sized organizations while providing training services for individuals and corporate organizations. As I said, Harry is indeed the BA priest, and I'm sure I'm talking here on behalf of everybody. Welcome again, Harry. Thank you, and we can't wait. If you would like to start sharing your screen, please.
Thank you so much. So I'm just doing that right now. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. And I just wanted to say there might be questions. Please put your questions in the chat, and I'm sure that will be read out at the end of the meeting. I want to appreciate IB South Africa for giving me this opportunity to come share my knowledge. Really, really appreciate and don't take that for granted. Okay, so let's move into it. Like you know, the title is How to Become a Business Analysis Superhero. And I don't think there's any need for me to define what a superhero is. But for those superheroes that you know, each superhero that you have met or read about represents a specific tribute that is critical for success in business analysis. And these are some of the attributes: being an agent of change, being courageous in the face of fear, being an excellent communicator, and the likes of it. So today, I'm going to be showing you some of these superhero skills and superhero attributes, and also going to show you how you can improve those capabilities. I know you have those abilities, but how do we hone in on them so that we become the best of who we are? There's a saying that I like, and it's by Superman. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me bringing a lot of quotes for some of the superheroes that we know. And that is that there is a superhero in all of us. We just need the courage to put on our cape. And my theme song, which was Spider-Man, I love that song so much. I've singing it in my house for a couple of days now. And it's not every time it goes into to solve a problem, knowing exactly what to do. But one peculiar thing he does is to at least step forward. And as he steps forward, he faces that challenge, he's able to figure out what to do. So um, there is a superhero in you. There's an ability inside of you that will make you outstanding, not just in your project, but will make you also add impact to people's lives. And what I just want to encourage you today is the courage. Take the courage, step forward. And I tell people you might have imposter syndrome, but we all do. We all do. Everybody does. The only difference is that those people that make a mark ignore that feeling or do what they need to do instead of that feeling. So prioritize developing the skills and attributes that we are going to talk about in this webinar. And I believe that is going to transform you, but not just you, also transform your team, making you better, faster, and stronger. Okay, I'm not so much of a superhero fan as some of my colleagues are, but as part of my research for this webinar, I learned that there are two types of superheroes. One type, or the first group, is the superheroes with superhuman powers like Superman and Wonder Woman. And the group two are the superheroes without superpowers, but they have trained themselves. They've mastered their skills, so they have a high level of skill in the things that they know. And then some examples are Batman and Iron Man. They've taken what they have, they've mastered what they have, and they can use it in creative ways to solve problems, not just for themselves, but also for their teams. Business analysts are like the second group. They don't have superhuman powers, but they can use their innate capabilities, technological abilities or knowledge, and continuous learning to achieve success. So I'm going to be focusing more on that second group. I don't know if there's anybody here with superhuman powers, but if you are, then we can talk later. But right now, let's just focus on how to hone our skills and become the best of what we can. So today we'll cover four main superhero skill groups. So there are groups of skills, so we're going to cover them. The first one will be character. And character is the foundation of a business analysis superhero. It's essential. Character is essential to the success of being a superhero. The next one is competence. As a business analyst or as a business analysis superhero, you need to master your skills. You need to know tools. You need to be creative with using those tools. And I'll give you some examples when we get to that particular topic. And the next one is communication. You have to know how to communicate what you want to achieve. BAs do a lot of things, but you cannot work in isolation. You have to coordinate yourself. You have to coordinate with people. You have to brainstorm. You have to engage people, understand their current state and their future state. Your understanding of how to influence people in the right direction is very critical to your skills. And the last one is collaboration. And in collaboration, we'll focus in on how to amplify not just your skill, but amplifying the power of your team. The spectacular things about the best superheroes is that they're not just the ones that have those awesome powers, but they're able to see the same in others and help them to harness that. So let's move to our first topic. Our first topic will be on the character. Now, for character, what does character mean? Character represents the core personal attributes that shape how we act and how we lead is very, very critical. And I feel that is one of the first things that we should have as business analysts. Now, the list that you see on the screen is not exhaustive, but at least it gives you some of my own perspective of some character traits that a business analyst should have. Some people call these soft skills, but regardless, these are just very important skills that we should have. Empathy. One simple definition for business analysis that I use is that business analysis is understanding business needs and preferring solutions to that. Now, in understanding business needs, you need to be empathetic. Um, I have love for so I worked on a project where the business, in eliciting requirements for the business, they did not want to talk to me as a business analyst. And the reason is because they felt if I succeed in that project, then they will lose their jobs. I had to put on my cape of empathy to engage the lead for that particular department. And I informed her that you have about 10 KPIs every year. And for the last 5 years, you've not met any of those KPIs because there are a lot of repetitive tasks that you are doing. They are not giving you time to focus on what is important. So my job here is to find a way to automate some of those repetitive tasks so that your team and yourself can focus on what is important. But I couldn't do that without empathizing. I couldn't do that without putting myself in their shoes and trying to understand it from their point of view. So understanding stakeholder needs is as crucial as crucial to a business analyst. And understanding people's needs helps you to bring them to your side. So they see that you are not a foe, you are an ally. You are somebody that is there to make their life better. Another skill is your negotiation and conflict resolution skill. You need to keep the peace. I've noticed in most organizations that I work in, if you are deploying or you are trying to solve a problem or trying to create a product for marketing and sales, those two departments are usually at loggerheads. And there might even just be a requirement that all your stakeholders do not agree with. You need negotiation skills. You need to hone in your negotiation skills. You need to keep the peace, just like superheroes mediate between when departments or when people are having conflict. Critical thinking skills is very important. And one example of this is Batman. These need strong analytical minds to solve complex problems. Now, I'm not one for throwing out cliches. Critical thinking skills. What does that mean? It means your ability to separate what is important from what is not important. Because as business analysts, in doing our current state analysis, future state analysis, and gaps, we come across all kinds of information. And not every information is as important or as critical as the other. But with critical thinking skills, you are able to separate what is important from what is not. But how do you do that? Focus on the goal of the project. Focus on the need of the project. That helps you to sieve out what is important from what is not. Lastly, critical thinking skill is crucial. Problem-solving skill is crucial for a business analyst. The definition of business analysis is understanding business needs and profiling solutions. It means that you need to be able to understand problems. Now, one thing I've noticed, especially for my mentees, people usually run into a problem And then they try to prefer solution without understanding the business problem in the first place. Discover the root cause of the problem before you start preferring solutions. It's very, very critical. It's not about softwares. It is not about deploying anything. It is first about, do I know the root cause of this problem? Or else you start chasing shadows. If you understand the root cause, you know that whatever treatment you apply, whatever product or solution that is deployed would at least ensure that that problem does not come up again. So problem solving skills is critical by understanding the root cause of issues. So I have a quick poll that I want us to take. You can just take your phone and scan this, or you can go to this website so we can take the poll. What I will do is that I will bring down my stuff. So I give you a minute. This is the question. Which character trait do you think is most important for a business analysis superhero? Nobody is on this yet. If you can just quickly use your phone. Problem solving. Yes. Let me not say something. I think problem solving is very important. Critical thinking. Yes, we have a lot of information that we sieve through. And I've been in meetings where you are even sometimes you are trying to control the business to focus on why that meeting exists, because sometimes they can derail the conversation. So critical thinking skill is a very, very important one. Now, I only have, yes, okay, I see someone else. Problem solving skills, that is very correct. Just scan this QR code. And so I think most people go for problem solving. I'll just give one more minute just to see if others are going to vote. Just scan this with your phone or go to this website, and then you can vote. Okay, so you know what? I'll just leave it at problem solving, and I perfectly agree. Problem solving is very critical. Is very important. Critical thinking skills is another one that is also very important. I believe they are all important, but maybe just these two for now. Okay, so let's move on. So I spoke about empathy earlier, but now let's look at competence. Let's look at competence. Imagine you called the customer care rep for a telecommunications company or wherever you. I used to work in MTN before. Yeah, I used to work in MTN once in a while, once in a long time ago. And imagine you call the customer care, and customer care, the person that attended to you is awesome. The person empathizes with you. The person understands the problem, is polite, but the person cannot solve your problem. And that is where the issue of competence comes. So you can be compassionate to people, you can understand them, you can show empathy, but do you know how to solve that problem? It's another part, it's another kettle of fish. So competence is critical. And competence is about your technical skills, the tools that you have mastered, your ability to continuously develop and innovate. Now, these two things need to work together. Character and competence, they need to work together. You can't be heavy on competence and low on character. That will not go well. And you can't be heavy on character and low on competence. They need to work hand in hand. So this is something that I believe that we need to master. And some technical competencies or BA competencies I think that we need to work on is some of the ones that you can see on the screen. And you can, an example that comes to mind is Iron Man. And you can see how Iron Man masters his craft. He understands the robot, he understands technology, he's continuously researching, he's continuously innovating, he's creating new tools. He doesn't have any superpower, but he takes the tools that he has, he understands the tools and is able to innovate and create new things. And I'll give you an example. I worked on a project where I was to do business analysis work for AI tool. We needed to create an AI tool that will automate the detection of some risky profiles, and they had a lot of business rules. I'm a CBAT. I understand. I know not everything. I know a lot of the 50 techniques in the bad book, but none could help me. There was no technique that could help me in analyzing these business rules and modeling it in a way that the business will understand. I had to create mine. Now, but why was I able to create mine? I was able to create my why because I understand certain techniques. When I understand the business need, and I was able to figure out a new technique that will help me in analyzing that problem and also modeling that problem to my business stakeholders. So one technical skill that you need or competence that you need is requirement elicitation and documentation. That is one line, but there's a lot of things that is loaded in that, but I will go through as much as I can. And there are several tools, several techniques that you can use for elicitation, interviewing techniques that you can use, tools like Jira, Confluence, that you can also use for documentation and collaboration. Now, even if you don't know Jira, know your Microsoft Word well. Microsoft Word has a lot of things in there. And sometimes people use Excel too, but just make sure you master your tool. Don't just know your tool on the surface level, understand it and master it. Data analysis and visualization is also very, very key and important. You need to know how to interpret data. If you are working, and like I tell people, business analysis or data analysis is a business analyst that specializes in understanding data and trying to figure out creating visualizations and creating interpretations from that particular data set. So data analysis is still business analysis work. It's just that you are focusing more on data. How do you interpret data? Do you know what tools do you know in interpreting data? Learn how to use Power BI or Tableau to guide your decision making, or even Excel. Excel has VLOOKUPs, and it has pivot tables. It has all kinds of features and things that you can use to help you analyze data and create insights from that particular data. And don't say, oh, it's data analysis, I'm a business analyst. No, data analysis is a data analyst is a business analyst that specializes in creating insights from data. Just a specialization. And with the way the world is going, the more you know about data analysis, the more it will help you depending on the project that you are working on. Another thing is your modeling techniques. Learn about your modeling techniques. How do you draw a process flow? Models are excellent. Without it, there's a quote that says, "A picture is better than 1,000 words." Imagine you want to buy a house and you tell your architect of the house you want to buy, how it should look and all that. And the next 2 months, they just tell you the house is ready. The question will be, why didn't you draw me a diagram? Why didn't you model it? At least I want to know where the rooms are. I want to know how it looks visually. That's why we have architects. And imagine you want to buy a dress and nobody allows you to see the dress that you want to buy. Why do they put dresses on mannequins? Because of modeling. Why do you have runways? Because of modeling. The mannequin is not what is most important. It is the dress. But with the mannequin, you can see the beauty of the cloth you want to buy. Same thing with modeling in business analysis. And there are different modeling techniques. You have the process flows, you have the swim lane diagrams, you have the process models, and you also have other modeling techniques like the use case modeling technique and other modeling techniques. So master your modeling techniques. Understand for process models, there are different notations like the BPMN, and there are also other things you can, even a project roadmap is a kind of model. So master those models. So let me move on because of time. So I also have another poll question here for us. I hope that we can look into this one. Just scan and you should be able to answer this. So this question, let me open this up. I have not. Yeah. So which tool would you use for process modeling in an e-commerce project? which tool would you use for process modeling in an e-commerce project? Anyone? You can just scan here and you'll be able to get to the poll. Which tool do you think you will need for process modeling? Is it a data flow diagram, or is it an entity relationship diagram, or is it a BPMN or fishbowl? Exactly, exactly, exactly. So for process flows, let me just add something. Process flows, you use BPMN. So BPMN is the notation for creating process flows. Oh, someone is drawing on my screen. Jeez, okay, no problem. Anybody want to try? I only have 2 votes here. I only have 2 votes. Does anybody want to try? I hope we can all see the poll. Entity relationship diagram.
Hi,
Okay.
Harry.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know if that is the same for most of us here. I am not
Yes.
able to access it. It says presentation may not be found. You may have mistyped the access code, even though I typed the access code on the screen. So it's the second time now. I don't know if anyone else is
Okay.
experiencing the same issue.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah, can we
Does
put it
does
in the chat? People who want to participate but are not able to. I see some people are putting in their answers in the chat.
so
Is
do
that
you
okay?
want okay, the answers? Yes, the answers are okay in the chat too.
Okay. All right. All
I'm
right.
so sorry for that.
No
I didn't
problem.
know that was happening.
Thank you.
So, and I also put the link, I also put the link in the chat in case you want to use
Okay.
the link.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So that is, I wish I knew how to take out this line on my screen, but I think I would just have to ignore it for now. Okay, I'll just have to ignore it. There's a line on the screen. I'm not sure how that's happened. Disable annotation for everyone. Okay, let's move on. So, yes, I can see most people are saying data flow. For process models, if you are going to create process models, you should be using the BPMN. The BPMN is the notation for creating process flows. So I just wanted to just emphasize that. Okay, so let's go back to our slide and continue our presentation. I wish there was a way to take this line out, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Maybe we just, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's move on. Or let me see if I can find, no, I'm making it worse. Cloud drawings, good, we got it out. Okay, so the next set of um, superhero skills group is communication. And communication is the superpower that lets a BA influence, inspire, and gain value from stakeholders. You know, it helps us to influence our stakeholders in the right direction, to inspire them, and also to gain buy-in. And some of the skills that are under this is storytelling, and like most superheroes that they rally their teams together. BAs need to inspire and communicate clearly with all parties. And you see this with a lot of the superheroes, when there's a problem, they bring all their teams together to achieve and solve that problem. In storytelling, you need to present your analysis like a superhero, crafting an inspiring story. As a business analyst, you need to know, number one, how to ask the right questions. Because with asking the right questions, then you get the right answer. You also have to know how to tell compelling stories. You have to know how to explain yourself, tell stories that, and how do you tell compelling stories? You can look at the classical, let's say, Cinderella story. There are always people, there's always a plot, and there's always a villain, And there's always a prince or a prince charming or a champion or a superhero, so you have to be able to please understand who are the characters in your story and also what the plot is, and let the business understand what you are trying to say. So storytelling is very critical for a business analyst, both for when you are attending interviews. So let me just quickly chip that in for those that still looking for jobs. You need to know how to tell compelling stories. When you get to an interview, you are supposed to talk, or you just don't talk. You have to craft your statements or your responses in a story-like way. And you can use the HR methodology. I prefer to use something called SPARK, where S is for situation, P for pressure point, A is for the action, R is for the result, and K is for the knowledge gain. But that pressure point is good for telling compelling stories. Influencing, you need to lead with purpose. Just like Latin America does. He's always the one rallying everybody together. If you watch his movies, if you watch Avengers, he's always bringing his people together to achieve what they want to achieve. Public speaking, facilitation, you need to be able to facilitate meetings. What are the essential things for facilitating a meeting? Every meeting should have a purpose. You need to send the meeting invites out. You need to invite the right stakeholders. You need to create the right environment. If you are going to facilitate, why don't you talk to one of your colleagues to scribe for you? You don't have to rush everything. Get someone to scribe for you. Work together with your colleagues. And you might have colleagues that are excellent in writing meeting notes. That's a very good person to bring. You are identifying an ability in that person, and you are helping the person to harness it even in your project. And another one is conflict resolution. Like I said, sometimes you are working on a project where you have multiple stakeholders or multifunctional project, and not every stakeholder group agrees with each other. So you need to gain consensus. In gaining consensus, you need to know how to facilitate. You need to know how to resolve conflict. One thing I use is the JAT session. It helped me when I'm trying to gain consensus with stakeholders. Call a JAT session, invite all the stakeholders there. Do a walkthrough of your current state, of your future state, and what about the solution? Call the developers even into that meeting. One critical person you need to bring to that meeting is maybe your project sponsor and your project manager. They can become tiebreakers for you, especially when you have tried all the tricks in the book to make everybody align and they're not aligned. You can defer to the project sponsor in that meeting, and he can give a decision and say, you know what, based on this requirement, we are going to go to this direction. He owns the budget for that particular project, and I believe I've seen it work. I don't use that all the time. Most times in my JAT sessions, I get them to agree, but in those exceptions, that's where your project sponsor can come in. Okay, so let's move on this. We also have another poll on this. Which communication challenge do you face the most? Which communication challenge do you face the most? I'm going to bring the poll up. I'm going to change the question now. For those that were not, please post your question. Yeah, okay. For those that were not able to access the poll, I hope you can access it now. I put the link in the chat so you can try. So which communication challenge? Okay. I think I see the problem that is going on now, but it's fine. Okay, great. Explaining technical details to non-technical stakeholders, yes. Managing conflicts during meetings, presenting complex data simply. Yes, that would be a challenge. There's no right or wrong answer with this one. It just depends. I'm just trying to take a poll, but explaining technical details to non-technical stakeholders. For the person that clicked on that one way to do that is by creating models. Models help. Models help. If you have a very complex scenario, find a way to present it in pictures. It really helps to drive the point home and help people to understand, what you are trying to say. And it's also linked to presenting complex data simply. It's still visualizations. If you want to present data in a simple way. It's all about visualization. So all I see from here is modeling, diagrams, very critical. It's one of your most important or cherished skill as a business analyst from my perspective. So I'll move on this. If the poll is not working for you, you can put the answer in the chat and we'll definitely look at it there. Okay, so let me bring up my slide and we'll move on. I think I'm doing well on time. Okay, and the next one is collaboration. A true superhero never works alone. You have to collaborate, and one big example is the Avengers. Business analysts need to recognize the strengths of their teammates and leverage them to achieve more. If you have a teammate that is good at taking meeting notes, why doesn't he scribe for some of your sessions? If you have some innate abilities, why don't you leverage those abilities for your colleagues? So you need to recognize the strengths of your team, recognize the strengths in the business, recognize the strengths of those that are working in your project. Empowering others is a superpower in itself, giving people the ability to showcase their skills, even in your project. It's a superpower in itself, and it will help your team to excel by helping them to recognize what their unique skills are and helping them to leverage those unique skills. Empower your team, learn to be a mentor, learn to be a leader, recognize our strengths, and also rely on the special abilities that your members have. Encourage collaboration. Bring out the best in others to achieve synergy in your project. Let's encourage people to work hand in hand and be a mentor. Help others to grow and excel by sharing knowledge and clearing any obstacle that your colleagues might have. I have another poll, and how this works too. And that one is just, how would you optimize your team if you identify the hidden strength in a team member? This one has a right or a wrong answer. You can put your answer in the chat. The first answer is you leave them in their current role. So you identify a special strength or a hidden strength in your colleague. You leave them in their current role. You reassign their role to leverage that strength. You provide additional training for their current role, or do you assign them to a dual role to cover both areas? Yes, some of these answers can, it's depending on the situation. There might be a situation where you feel, okay, we can assign this person to a different project to level. Don't type in QA question. Okay, okay. So people can still access the poll while some others cannot. So I really apologize for that. I'm not sure what is happening. So reassign their role to leverage their strength. That's what I think I would do. Give them tasks to leverage their strength and also to help them to master that strength. Okay, let me quickly switch to my PowerPoint presentation so that we'll move on. Yes, so yeah, sir. I think I'm mixing up my slides. Okay, so become your own superhero. You are a superhero in yourself. Recognize those skills in yourself that makes you a superhero. Own those skills, practice those skills, master those skills. I know superheroes are fictional, I agree, but that doesn't mean that you cannot be one of them. That doesn't mean that you cannot be like them. Prioritize developing these 4 skill groups I've shown you. Develop character, competence, communication, collaboration, and this will help you lead your teams and your projects to success. Remember, you already have that power. One way to overcome imposter syndrome is by stepping forward. Even if you have your legs shaking, just step forward. Even if you are scared, just step forward. Because imposter syndrome are just voices in our in our minds telling us, oh, I cannot do it, you cannot achieve it. But you need to have practical examples to tell yourself that, oh, I did it yesterday, it worked, so I can do it today. Or telling yourself that it's okay for me to make a mistake. If I make a mistake, I will learn, I will get better, and I will become better at this. So remember you have the power, and now is the time to put on your cape. So what skill area will you focus on to improve your superheroes power? We talk about 4 different groups, but which one, think about the one you think is peculiar to you. It is time for you to prioritize those ones, especially the ones that you have gaps on. As business analysts, we do our needs analysis. And in our needs analysis, you talk about your current state analysis, your future state analysis, and you do and from your gaps, you begin to write actionable things you can do. So it's time for you to start practicing those places that you see gaps. You have gaps when it comes to competence or a particular tool, prioritize development in that area. Do you have gap when it comes to a particular character trait? Maybe you are not empathetic enough, or you are a perfectionist and you expect everybody to be the same, right? Practicing empathy, try and put yourself in that person's shoes. And even if you cannot put yourself in that person's shoes because you don't have that same character, there are areas where you are weak. Figure out if I'm weak in this area, would I want someone to be empathetic? Would I want someone to understand me? Would I want someone to be a little more patient with me? Putting yourself in people's shoes, even in the business shoes, it helps you to understand. I worked on a project where my first meeting with my stakeholder said, you are working on AI solution, and I think you are a solution looking for a problem to solve. That statement hit me like a rock. I think it's like I don't need your help. You are a solution and you are going everywhere to look for a problem to solve. But I was able to turn that around by helping her see the benefit of what the AI solution we're proposing and how that will benefit her and our department. So in practicing these things, in understanding your gaps and um, prioritizing the development and transforming yourself and your team, it will make you become better, you become stronger, you become faster. And if you would like to know more about being a business analysis superhero, I will encourage you, if you want to, you can be part of, you can sign up for my 12 weeks business analysis practicum, where I go a lot more in depth into all these skills and show you practical ways to maximize and perfect your skills if you're interested. And there are a lot of things we do. We do post-training support, resume review, internship, job referrals, and we do a lot of mock interviews. And those mock interviews actually do help. And for my consultancy, we do training, we coach and we mentor. We do webinars like I'm doing now, and we work in various business analysis domain. So I think that's all for what I want to share right now. And I'll just leave it to the admin to, like, if there are any questions for me, so I can attend to those questions. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ari. That was very, very deep and succinct. Thank you for all the insight that you shared. I don't know if you can stop sharing your screen.
Yes,
so
I will
that
do that now.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. That was very insightful and very rich too, with a lot of takeaways. I think what hit me the most about your presentation was like being in a situation where you develop or propose a solution and then you start to look for problems, to validate your solution instead of the other way around. It looks like we are rather, problem creators. We just find problems where there are no problems instead of actually solving problems that exist. And I'm glad that you were able to turn that situation around. That's a key takeaway for me. And we have a lot of contributions and in the comments, starting from participants who actually said they chose empathy.
You're muted. Sorry.
Oh, so sorry about that. When you have the first question about which of the skills would we choose, I think I
Yes.
particularly chose empathy, because as much as I know that problem solving is very key, and if you don't know how to solve problem, it's like a plumber coming to your house when you have a leakage, in your pipe, your plumbing pipe, and then they like, oh, shame, I feel for you, I feel so
Yes.
sad for you, but I really feel that the ability to feel people's pain and be able to switch positions with them could be the foundation of really getting to understand the problem. And
I
if
agree.
you now have the capabilities and the knowledge, then you can use it in the best possible way. So that was me. I think someone else also said they choose critical thinking, and I wouldn't agree less with that, because as much as Ari, would you say that any of the skills are more important than the other? Yeah, in your
No,
own.
no.
Okay.
That is why there are no right or wrong answers. It just depends on
Okay.
the particular situation.
Okay.
Like for instance, I told you where the team said they don't want me in the project because they feel if I succeed, they will lose their jobs. I have to start empathizing. Critical thinking skill will not help me at that point. So it just depends on the situation. So, but you don't want to start developing the skill when the problem starts. So these are things you want to develop. But there are simple ways. Just put yourself in the person's shoes, and that will help you to empathize, or that will help you to know what technique to use or to.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ari. We have a question from IHB South Africa. I think that's Lihana. Um, She says she can't type in the Q&A section, but she wants to know the price implication for you to mentor stakeholders. How much is enough? How much do you mentor stakeholders? Like, okay, how much do you mentor stakeholder? How much is enough? Liana, do you want to put more
Can
context
I
to that
can I
question?
just put my email in the chat? Maybe you can just
Okay,
get yes. So I just put my email there. Just send me an email and we can talk.
okay,
I can also put
oh,
my phone number so you can always reach me and we can have that discussion.
all right, all right. Please, to participant asking question, if we do not get the context of your questions right, please feel free to unmute yourself and really just ask the question. Thank you so much for that, Ari. Kristen wants to know, what advice would you give to a sidekick, someone just starting their career who wants to become a superhero business analyst? Is there any special recipe, do's and don'ts?
For me, I think the most important thing is to understand fundamentally what business analysis is. I think if you understand, you can always develop in whatever direction. And like I tell people, everybody does business analysis, even the doctor. And I tell people business analysis is understanding problems and preferring solutions. The doctor does that. A patient comes to the doctor, oh, I have headache and my leg's paining me. The doctor begins his analysis. What is that? Current state analysis. The doctor, even though it's in his mind, he compares that to the future state, which is a state where the person is healthy, and he begins to do some gap analysis. After that, the doctor writes something called prescriptions. In business analysis, we call that requirements. Now, the doctor doesn't create the drug. He gives the prescriptions to you and you take it to the pharmacist and the pharmacist mixes the drug. Business analysts write down requirements and hand over the requirements to developers. Developers create the solution and the business is happy. So understand fundamentally, number one. Two, look for practical sessions where you can apply your knowledge. The more you practice, the more you get your hands dirty in different kinds of projects, the more resilient you become and the more of a superhero you become. So understand in depth and practice.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very relatable illustration. Thank you for that. Ari, in your opinion, what would be your go-to gadgets, tools, and techniques that you rely on to save the day in your daily work?
Models.
Model.
I love images a lot. They 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 just make life easier for you and for everybody. So I whatever concept I'm trying to do, even in my trainings, even in this webinar, try to put images because images just make people relax. That okay, yes, I can relate to this guy. Wanting your business to understand something, and you then send them a lot of text. Most people don't want to read or they get distracted. So my go-to technique is model. Even when I'm doing data, I do visualizations because visualization is a way to pictorially show what you are doing. I use case models. When I'm working on the delivery of a solution, I use process flows, swim lane diagrams when I'm showing the various activities within stakeholders to achieve a particular goal. So I use a lot of modeling techniques. That's that for me.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. I agree with modeling and how that just impacts on the cognitive ability, like cognitive loading takes away the load or the responsibility of recall, remember,
Yes.
processing, and it offloads that from the stakeholders, and it creates an environment for more interaction. We focus on what is important and we create shared understanding when we use model. So I really, really agree with that. Thank you so much for that. Um, okay. Nasima wants to know, Ari, what in your opinion are future fit or new skills that BAs should adopt or learn to utilize in their projects? I would want you to tie this to the pressure of the fourth industrial revolution, because that is very, very deep right now. Everyone is shouting AI, AI, AI. People who don't even have data warehouses also want to have, implement AIs in their organizations. So relative to AI or what the future of business analysis looks like, what are the skills that you think we should add as cream on the cake to our existing capabilities?
So I'll put two. Number one,
Okay.
courage. Courage.
Courage.
Don't be afraid of the future. There was a time where people were riding horses and they said, oh, cars are going to come and will cause this. Human beings will adapt. They are all tools. Even AI is a tool. So don't be afraid of the tool. Don't be afraid of the tool that you think the tool will displace you. No, the tool will only displace you if you do not know how to master it, if you do not know how to use it. Imagine everybody driving cars and you are driving a horse. Why? You are just afraid to learn something new. So take courage, learn that new thing, learn prompt engineering. Actually, go online. What is prompt engineering? It is just the ability to ask AI the right question. So you get AI is a very good servant, but a bad master, a very bad master. It is loaded with a lot of information. If you don't have the right questions and you rely solely on it, it can mislead you. So learn prompt engineering. Learn to see AI as a tool that will help you to improve in your work. If you see it that way, you will have the right perspective. You'll be able to learn, and you better yourself. AI will make you more of a super. It's your super one of your superhuman powers. I use AI a lot, but I do not fully rely on it.
AI. Thank you so much, Ari. That is very succinct. I think I just love the way you answer all your questions. I agree about AI. And also you spoke a lot about asking the right question when you were doing your presentation. I think asking the right question is a life skill with your stakeholders, but also with AI also, you can transfer, is a transferable skill that you can use with humans, and you can also use it with machine. Thank you for the word prompt engineering. This is the first time I'm hearing that, and I'm going to go and do some research on it and see what we can come up with. I would like to take another question from Ade Abio. Ade wants to know the difference between process flow diagram and BPMN.
Okay, so process flow diagrams are just the models. Okay, so let me break it down. What is a process? A process is a set of related activities to achieve a certain goal. A process has a start and a process has an end, and every process has a trigger. A process flow diagram is just a pictorial diagram that shows that how activities or work flows from one stakeholder to the other. However, there is a global standard called the BPMN. And because we are talking about models, there are different diagrams or notations or icons. Now, everybody just came and agreed that, okay, we are going to agree that if you have a stick man, it means this. Or if you have this line in the diagram, it means this. So it is just an agreed notation that most people globally understand. Or else, Harry might draw an orange as a human being or a banana as something. So it's just an agreed standard. Not everybody follows it, but most people follow it. But my point is, don't run into the rabbit hole of BPMN because it's a very deep hole. Just understand the most important or the mostly used notations, like your I'm not sharing anymore. Sorry. My teacher had already come in. You know, like the round button that shows your start, round button that shows your end. A process is usually in a rectangle. Your diamond is usually a decision box. And yeah, just mainly those ones. Understand those ones. Don't use tools for using sake. Use tools in a way that helps you to explain what you are saying. If you use diagrams and nobody understands what you are saying, it is useless.
It is
So
useless.
BPMN is a rabbit hole. Just pick the most important that will help you explain what you are saying.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ari. I agree that people kind of think that modeling, when you're drawing diagrams, you just can put anything together, a stick man holding a stick, and it's not just for illustration. It is communication, just like English language.
Exactly.
There is a way to do it, and UML is one of the languages of communicating via model, especially when you're trying to show business processes. So I think you couldn't have said that better. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to take another question. How can a business analyst from Matt and Denny, how can a new business analyst build trust with stakeholders who still view them as, I think that was clear, who still view them through the lens of their previous entry-level roles as a baby BA? You know, like when you're trying to communicate with stakeholders and they kind of think, this is a popcorn, like you're popping like a popcorn. Go sit down somewhere. How can you ground yourself to make them know that you have your superpowers in business analysis and get them to give you audience when you need it?
Okay, so I don't want to run too much into psychology, but how people view you is a reflection of how you see yourself. If you see yourself like a rookie, everybody that engages you will see you like a rookie. People only reflect to you because how you see yourself is how you will mirror yourself to others. And people will react exactly that same way to you. So the problem is not them. The problem is your perception of yourself. Now, to fix that perception of yourself, start doing things. Don't start from the most difficult things. Start from the simple things. You need wins. You need many wins. As you win, as you create that model and you are satisfied, and somebody tells you that, oh, this model helps me, your confidence increases. As your confidence increases, you begin to emanate that confidence to others. As people feel that confidence, they begin to tell you that, oh, I didn't know you just came to the company last week. Have you been doing business analysis for 3,000 years, or have you been doing business analysis for 15 years? So it is about yourself. How do you see yourself? It is not them. They are only reflecting back to you the perception of who you are.
Awesome. Awesome. That is deep. And very, very succinct. Ari, we are at 8 p.m. exactly, but I would like to ask a specific question before we put this, bring this session to an end. Specifically, is there any, the software engineers, they have their own, what do I call, repository of projects that they have done that they kind can share and say, these are my projects. You can see it. Is there anything like that for BAs? Is there, pseudo projects you can work on where you can create models? And, is there any tool like that that you can recommend for BAs where we can create our own portfolio and we can use that to communicate and, build our confidence and also show evidence of our practice?
Definitely, there are several portfolio tools or portfolio web tools where you can showcase the project, you can showcase your project, you can showcase the techniques that you use, you can showcase maybe like put a screenshot of your current state and your future state, and some of these things are free. The only advice that I give is please do not put any personal identifiable information for your company. Because most of these things are public facing, and you don't want your organization, you don't want people seeing things about your organization that you do not consent to release. So, but there are a couple of them. They are collaboration tools. I'm trying to remember a name, but I think someone put one in the stuff. But yeah, there are tools that you can use for that. As they are called portfolio tools. They show your portfolio.
Notion. Oh, Notion. Okay. Thank you, Ebuka. Ebuka says Notion. Okay. All right. That's awesome. And okay, Ebuka did send we have a link that shows Ebuka's work, Ebuka's portfolio. Please guys, if you want to just see what that looks like to help you build a portfolio, help you strengthen your core, and just create confidence in your work, you can follow the link and see and kind of mirror that, especially for new and upcoming BAs. This brings us to the end of the Q&A session. I'm going to pass over again to Liana, who is going to do the vote of thanks and bring the program to an end.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just to interrupt. I remember another one. It's called Behance.net. I'll post the link. It's another portfolio tool that you can use.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ari. It's been a real pleasure just gleaning from your knowledge tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, tell me, does wow and thank you count as a closing remark? No, the one thing I listened to, you mentioned, look, everything was valuable. Thank you very much. A lot to learn from there. The one thing you mentioned, and I've been listening to this in more than one webinar presentation, imposter syndrome. I think we all suffer from it. I think that is one of the things that we need to practice to overcome, in my opinion.
I perfectly agree with you.
Yeah, I think I think it's something that we need to learn to overcome. To feel like that is just natural. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone that attended, follow Harry on LinkedIn. Wherever you find Harry, follow him. I promise you, it is absolutely worth it. I started following him when he had an article, How to Explain Business Analysis to a 5-year-old. And I still refer back to it every now and then. So thank you so much, everybody, for attending. And remember the BA Summit. The link is in the chat, was there, but otherwise just go to the IIBA South Africa website under events. And see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.